Hello and welcome to Results with Kellen. I am so excited that you've taken time to join us today. You know, it is such a pleasure for me to bring you these interviews with great people that have done great results, that achieved great results and done things in their lives that are noteworthy and along the way have helped a lot of people. And those of you that have listened before know a bit about my story, but it never ceases to amaze me. The number of people that ask me questions like, Kellen, how do you do so many things? And in fact, I had a question yesterday and was on an interview this morning with someone that was asking that very question. And I said, there's really only two things. You have a clear vision of what you want to get done, and then you take small but consistent steps in that direction. And that's what has let me get the kind of things done that I have. I've been a C-level exec, as you know, in 2 countries, and done all kinds of things in my life that have led me to a place where I live a blessed and happy life with a wonderful opportunity to help you achieve the kinds of success and results you want in your life. So today I'm really excited to bring you another interview in our Results with Kellen series from a great guy who has achieved awesome results, and this is going to be a lot of fun today. So in order for you to get the full benefit from this interview, it'll be really helpful if while you're listening, you're on actually Robert Hollis's page. And so I want you to go there right now. The page is resultswithkellen.com, www.resultswithkellen.com/success in minutes, SUCCESSINMINUTES. So go to that page now, and then you'll be able to participate better and get more out of the interview. Now on that page, there's more than one thing you could do, but what's important to get the most out of it is scroll down to where you can put comments in. And as you listen to the interview today, undoubtedly things that Robert says will, trigger thoughts in your mind. It might bring up questions for you, or it might be a place where you can just write down things that are important that you want to do later or remember to, implement in your life. The other thing is, excitingly, there is a free gift that Robert has decided to give all of us today for listening through the interview if you want to claim it. So just make sure you listen, and you'll get the opportunity after a bit to get to claim that free gift. So right now I'm going to give you an intro for Robert, and as mentioned, he's quite a character and has done quite a bit. So I'm going to read this for you because I don't want to leave everything out, or at least take a look at it and make sure I leave all the good stuff in. So Robert Hollis, he's on a mission to inspire people to reach their dreams. As an entrepreneurial evangelist, I love that word, evangelist, right? He seizes every opportunity to encourage everybody that will listen to him to improve their economic future. Robert teaches how to identify the best residual income opportunities. Residual means it just recurs, right? That's great. Identify the best residual income opportunities, and then trains how to master those skills, methods, and techniques to exploit those opportunities for maximum profitability. That sounds fun to me. He's built several successful businesses online, including one that serves a satisfied customer base of, get this, 1 million people. That's impressive. In 9 countries. His businesses yield a passive residual income of $2 million a year. That's another impressive thought. Great to have him here. And just as important, he's trained thousands of people to generate residual income for themselves. And the most interesting thing is he has personally mentored over 44 people to achieve an income of $1 million. Robert, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Kellen. I'm very interested and excited to be on the show. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
You're absolutely welcome. I'm sure with that kind of an intro, people are just dying to hear more about Robert Hollis and figure out who he is, what makes him tick. So why don't you take a few minutes here, tell us about your journey, where you've been. And I've read some stuff on your site, so I have the advantage of knowing maybe a little more than most, and we've talked a few times. But tell us about your journey, how you got here, what you did, and what things have come up for you along the way, and then given you the passion that you have today.
Well, thank you very much. It was amazing because I grew up in Little Williston, North Dakota, and my whole life I just was one of those individuals that did what I was told to do. And so I thank God I have an uncle named Sidney that told me that I needed to go to college. Well, my college was a trade school because it was I just wanted to be a good auto mechanic. And of course, when I went out there and started working, I really loved being a mechanic. I'm very passionate about what I do, but unfortunately, I got hurt on the job and was at the wrong place at the wrong time, which a lot of people are. And all of a sudden, I had this doctor with a white coat. And I have a little joke I always say to people, you know what the difference between a doctor and God is? Well, God doesn't think he's a doctor. But I believed this guy. I mean, he had this white coat on. He said I'd never be able to support my weight. They did a number of surgeries on my knee. And all of a sudden, I just opened up and I said, I need to find a way to support my family. At this time, I was a single father with a 7-year-old son, my son, Robert Hollis Jr. And so thank God, and I mean that, I got introduced to an individual that I seen his check. I was really skeptical. And he showed me his check, and he was making $62,000 a month. And I just looked at him straight in the face, Colin, and just said, listen, can you show me how to do that? I'll do exactly what you tell me to do. And one of the things that I think that really, really made me successful is I was so desperate. At the time I found him, my car was being repossessed. I was hiding it from the repo man. I was being kicked out of my apartment. And I was willing to do anything he told me to do. And I just listened to him. I did exactly what he told me to do. And I was able to make $1 million before the age of 30. And I then really, really got a kick out of figuring out how to help other people achieve their dreams. So out of those 44 people, I got 7 of those people that actually own companies now that are 20 plus years that make over $700 million a year. And so now, because of the internet and meeting people like you, I'm now in a position to be able to share that story with people all over the world. We know there's 7 billion people out there, but probably more important, there's 400 million people worldwide that are unemployed that are looking for a way to make money. So I'm really blessed to partner up with you to be able to share with them how they can do that.
You know, it is spectacular, the reach that we have with the net, and I'm just right there with you. The gratitude that I feel for being able to reach out and touch people and to be able to introduce them to people like you and others who have both the passion and the knowledge to help them. Now, you know, if you're like me, and it sounds like you are in a lot of ways, you spend a lot of time and money trying to get questions answered, like, is it possible to get what I want out of life? And from your story, you were certainly at a point wondering that, or maybe how come it seems so hard to make the things happen that I really want. And one of the things you just said that was so dramatic is you were at a place where you said, I'll do whatever it is, just somebody show me the road. And that is such an important quality. And then stuff like, what does it really take to create the life I want? Of course, you saw the guy with the check and said, I want that. Show me how to do it. And
yes,
so
sir.
Sometimes I get questions, and I'm sure you do too, like, why does it seem like my own journey is so hard? And I know from your coaching material that you've addressed all and many more of these. So let me ask you the first question here that you can get started teaching us what you do.
Sure.
So you've had an amazing journey, in my mind, helping so many people get to success. And I knew about the 44, but I didn't know about the 7 that you said that have been in business these 20 years. So often people get the feeling that there's some magic formula, that you have to know some magic stuff to have great success. So how do you get people first lined up and fired up about the idea of your slogan, success in minutes? How do you help them get that start when they think there's some magic?
Well, the one thing I figured out is this thing called, I call it a pop. You know, and the pop to me is a place of passion, a point of passion. If every one of us looks deep, and especially with, you know, you doing mentorship too, you know, we really can help people find the thing that they would do if they didn't make any money. So when you get someone that's super, super passionate, I tell people all the time, and I love using analogies, is, you know, we know people that make $1 million a year from bowling. They make $1 million a year from stacking plastic cups. They make $1 million a year from fishing. What people always believe is they believe that they and the voice that they have and the experience they have really, really can't get them to a place of financial success. And you and I know they can. So one of the things that I think is unique about entrepreneurs and people that are successful is we always sort of giggle a little bit because if they knew where we came from and what we used to do and how broke we used to be, when we got in confidence and saying, listen, if you just each and every day have that vision in front of you, and I sort of got an acronym for vision, which is vision inspires success in others now. And if you can get them focused on their vision and then just get them to understand that if they move toward that mark every day, all they got to do is move toward that mark each and every day, that, you know, if they're just getting 1% better every single day, then at the end of the year, they're 300% better than they did when they started. I think a lot of people just don't get passionate. So I like to get them passionate. And when I can get that passionate, which is the other reason I wrote the book, was I just wanted people to read the book and go, wow, if this guy from Montana can pull this off, maybe I can. And that's the whole thing, is to get them inspired enough to believe that if you and I or I can do it, then they can do it too.
So that's fantastic, and I love what you said about passion, because one of the phrases I use a lot is, you know, people die with their music inside of them, and I guess I love that one because I'm a musician, right? And so that resonates with me. But what do you do to get people to find their pop, or I love it, point of passion? Okay, so what do you do?
I basically just get them to talk about themselves. You know what I mean? And I guess through skills of learning communications, you know, I can find something that they're very passionate about, even though they don't think they're a passionate individual. I recently just became a grandpa for the first time.
Oh, congratulations.
And I remember like it was yesterday that, that people were telling me, oh, wait, in fact, Bill Ebert, one of my dear friends, you know, he said, man, Robert, when you become a grandpa, you know, you're gonna click into a different mode that you didn't know. And on this day, on July 7th, you know, my youngest is 21. He turned 21 today. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, now we're talking about a legacy. And of course, when I looked into my new grandson's face, you know, after he was born, you know, you could get me talking about this young man, and you know, he's a month old, and you couldn't shut me up. So, you know, why am I passionate about being a grandfather? You know, only God knows. but I can talk to people that think they don't have a passion and get them talking about their grandkids, get them talking about their kids. And you and I know this because a lot of people live in the past. You know, they've never pulled the past DVD out of their head, and you get them talking about their high school years. You know, and there's like, oh my, I used to be a football player or a cheerleader in high school, and they just light up. And my goal is say, see that feeling? Remember when you got your first kiss? Remember the first time that you actually realized that you were driving a car, that you got your driver's license? What I do, Kellen, is I introduce them to points in their lives where they were very passionate, very excited, like going on I like doing the one when we were young, and you always tell people about going on a vacation. And what was the deal? You're so excited you can't go to sleep. You're a young kid, and you're saying, listen, if you don't go to sleep, you're going to be tired. Well, you don't go to sleep all night. You get up early in the morning. You jump in the car, you know, this 4-day drive that you got to Disneyland or whatever, and you're jacked out of your mind. Where do you get that extra energy, that extra excitement? Because you just can't wait to get involved in this new part of your life or get this new experience. And so once I expose them to that, then it allows me to say, okay, so if money wasn't an issue, if time wasn't an issue, what would you do? Design your day for me. And then that's when they start clicking, you know, and then they start going, wow, well, I do this. And then I go, so why can't we make money doing that?
So that's a spectacular thing. I love the example that you gave of get the past DVD out of your head. So when you said that, I'm envisioning an eject button, you know,
yes,
DVD popping out of my head, and then it made me naturally ask the question, so what do you do to get me to slide the future DVD in there so that I can start talking about the future vision and opportunity with the same kind of passion and power that I relive the emotion of highlights of the past?
Yeah, just I get them to explain. People that I personally mentor, I make them actually write me and design a perfect day in their life. And I'm not talking about where they are, just the experiences. You wake up, who are you around? Where are you at? What are you smelling? What are you seeing? You know, what are you going to do for the rest of that day? And I can get them excited, Kellen, by getting them to design a perfect day. Then I say, well, listen, guess what the goal is? The goal is to put as many of those days together as we can together. Because you know, once you get that special place in your life, it's like every day I tell people that I'm pinching myself every day. I'm living a lifestyle that I wasn't even close to dreaming. You know, it's like, you know, the because of me helping people, which is something that I read out of Think and Grow Rich years ago, was, you know, you help enough people get what they want in life, and in turn, you don't have to worry about anything. And of course, when you're broke and you're struggling, that makes no sense. And now, every day, it's like even how you reached out to me to interview me to be on your show. It's you're always looking to expose people to something that will make them click, to make them happy.
Absolutely, and that's fantastic. So let's go back to the time you met the guy and you saw the big check and you said, I got to have me some of that. And you started moving in that direction. And you just talked about designing a perfect day. And you know, I love what you said about the detail, because one of the things I do in coaching also is have people create that vision of the future with sights, with sounds, with smells, with specifics, so that it can create the bodily, you know, feeling and passions around it. So walk me a little bit more detail. Specifically, what did you do to start creating that from that? I mean, you were in a place of need. You were in a place of absolute determination. I got to do this. I got to do something. I don't know what. My car's in trouble. What did you do? Start me there and walk me through a bit of what you did and how that's translated into where you are.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I wanted to learn, because I tell people you come from two places in life to do more than you are right now, or start that transformation or that change. And those two places are inspiration or desperation.
True enough.
Yeah. So most people that I know come from where I did, the desperation part. And so when he shared with me, again, I know that money doesn't buy happiness. But I know another thing, poverty doesn't buy happiness. So I've been in both places. So my mentality really simply was, wow, you know, if I could learn what to do. And at that point in time, all I learned to do is humble myself. I was already a unemployed workman comp auto mechanic that was broke. So it was easy for me to ask people if they're interested in making extra money. And then I did nothing but edify and promote a mentor. So, you know, I did nothing but all day, every day, try to find people that I could put in front of my mentor. And I just happened to be involved in an opportunity at the time that as he mentored those people and they did sales, I got a percentage of those sales. And I thought, wow, I got to find people that are in one way or another dissatisfied with more than one area of their life. I get to ask them who they know. And then I get to edify and promote and put that person in front of a mentor, let him do what he does, and then I get paid. I thought, man, this is brilliant. So that's all I've been doing for 26 years. The roles have reversed, where now I'm blessed to finally have enough confidence in myself to believe that I can not only be available for people, but also be able to teach them to be successful.
So I'm going to repeat a little bit back of that just to get it right and to emphasize it, because you've described an incredible process. The one you specifically talked about is, okay, you started promoting, you saw this guy, you promoted getting people or found people that were dissatisfied, put them in front of this mentor, and you got to be paid because obviously he was able to help some of them and they were able to pay him, and so you got a part of that.
Yes.
And the thing that made it work was your own passion for, one, fixing your own situation, because obviously poverty doesn't buy happiness either. And that's a perfect comeback for people that say, well, money doesn't buy happiness. Usually people say that when they're mad about somebody else that has money that they don't anyway.
Right.
Lots of times. But, you know, you took on that for to repair your own circumstance, but also you started waking up this feeling that you have about helping people achieve success in their own lives, it sounds like.
Yeah, and that is my passion even today. I remember my first interview with you. the amount of information and the little keys of wisdom that you gave me through your own experiences were priceless, in my opinion. And I think that some people just don't know that they got two ears and one mouth, and if they would practice on the skill of listening, especially when you're in front of someone that has something that you want. I always have people, and you probably do too, Callan, where they want to tell you, well, let me tell you where I currently am, and let me tell you what I'm currently doing. I said, stop. Before you do that, how is that working for you? It's not. Then let's not waste each other's time.
Well, that's a great, I knew that was the title of your book, and I didn't know where that came from, but stop, how's that working for you is, as an assessment of your current situation, is a great question. So you moved in that way and began the process of helping people, and you said now that the roles are changed, where you are now the mentor, and you've humbly sort of taken the position of, well, I now know enough that I might be able to help people a little bit. I'd say getting 44 people to $1 million and having the people that you have, the 7 of them for 20 years, that's a pretty significant accomplishment. So you can minimize it, but I'll toot your horn just a bit here.
Oh, so. Thank you. I'm still having difficulty with that, but people like you and other people have really pushed me. Even to writing a book, sometimes I think that people say, well, you need to write a book about your rags to riches story, and I'm going like, well, who would want to read that? And but I think that every one of your listeners or watchers feel the same thing. We always feel like we don't have something to offer. And that is absolutely wrong. I can guarantee every one of your listeners and watchers that if they ever spent some personal time with you or me, that's our goal. Our goal is to get that out of them.
So that's perfect, because the next question I had here was just exactly about finding a passion and making it work for you. You talked about people that stack plastic cups and make a lot of money, and to me, that I can't get my mind around how that works, and I don't need to be explained how it works, but I believe you. But you talk about finding a passion and creating an ideal day and then making it work for you so that you can make money doing the things that you love, and you live in a state of completion, a state of doing good stuff, and in helping people. So this brings to two questions. And the first one, we'll start simply. What do you say to people who then say, I don't really know what I'm passionate about? Which I'm sure you're all the time. What do you do?
Yeah. What I first do is I give them examples, and a lot of examples of other successes. What I think inspires people is success stories from other people. I tell people what to this day has driven me to do more is hanging around people that have done more. I remember the guy that I met from the Starkey Foundation. This man, he donates $110 million a year and flies around in a Learjet fitting children with hearing aids that can't afford them. And I thought, so when I met this guy, and Eric Worre introduced him to me, and I'm like going, wow, I am doing nothing. I've been blessed to give millions to charity, and you meet someone like that, you go, wow. Your mind expands, your standards go up. So I'll give you a perfect one that I did with someone just recently, and it's just stories that I hear every day. If you want to find the stories, you can find them. But if I said to you, Callan, do you know this guy named John Green, this author named John Green? Most people go, I haven't heard of him. Well, here years ago, this guy is just out there just trying to make and he wrote a book called Something with Alaska. And, he wanted to be an author. And him and his brother in 2006 put together a YouTube channel called the Vlog Brothers. Instead of blog, it's vlog.
Right, vlog, right.
Yeah, the Vlog Brothers. And I think this is 2006. Well, long story short, him and his brother just doing rants on this YouTube channel. I think they have over 2 million subscribers now on their YouTube channel. And if you watch the videos, you'd laugh. But he's sort of a geeky guy, and he got a lot of these people that were sort of, had people picking on him for being geeks and so on and so forth. Well, then he decided, once he got this large following by doing small rants on YouTube, he wrote another book called The Fault in Stars. And that book went to #1, and the publisher caught on to it after he had sold millions of copies to already the subscription of people that he built for free on the internet. Well, now they've turned The Fault of Stars into a movie, and now I think it's been running for the last couple of weeks. So here's a guy that no one knew who he was, and by him just ranting, I mean, you know, I show people stories like that, and they go, well, wow, you know, I probably could go on and in front of a camera like an iPhone and do a rant for a couple of minutes every day. Well, could you? So, you know, so building a loyal following that knows, like, and trusts you, now eventually gets you to expose them to whatever you're now marketing. And so the person that has the largest list, the largest group of people that are following are the people that win, and you need to start that today, you know. So that's some of the stories that I share with people that they all of a sudden get it. I'll give you one more quick one. There's this guy that made 6 figures a year by sharpening pencils.
Sure. Okay, you stumped me. Sharpening pencils, 6 figures a year. So you're going to have to do a little detail on that. What in the world did that?
And where I get a lot of my success stories is on Good Morning Sunday mornings. You know, I think it's CBS. I hope I'm saying it right. And they show these really nice stories. Well, this guy just loves pencils, and he sharpens pencils. So people all over the world send him their pencils for him to sharpen. And then he puts these protectors on it and sends them back because he's the guy that's the best pencil sharpener in the world.
I'm just blown away. I mean, you know, you hear people talk about, and I as a coach have heard this too, you can make money doing your passion, and I've said that, and I've helped people do it, and you've helped a whole bunch too.
Right.
But, you know, you always have this question in your mind that says, yeah, but there's got to be some weird things that probably wouldn't work, and so you have this little feeling of reservation.
Right.
But what you're telling me, I mean, with these kinds of examples, rants and sharpening pencils, and I have a funny one that I saw. Someone started a podcast about astral projection, and it was funny because in the place I was speaking on stage at a place, and I was sharing the stage with somebody else, and it was the other person that was talking about it. They were talking about blogging, and this person was blogging about astral projection, and he asked if there was anybody in the room that even knew what astral projection was. And I was the only one that raised my hand because I happened to have read a book about it, you know, some fantasy book about astral projection, so I knew. And this person's making a living blogging about astral projection. So
absolutely,
it truly is amazing what you can do. So finding a passion, pursuing it, and then you talked about one key piece right there that I want you to expand on a little bit about building a loyal following.
Okay.
Building a group of people that care what you say and that start following you. So talk a little bit more about that.
Right. And I could keep going with that John Green story because him and his brother were sort of geeky and was those guys that usually got picked on by the athletes or the cheerleaders or all the niches that we know that are out there. They were able to build a following by basically not really being mean, but just ranting on the whole concept that, you know, that they were great. So all of a sudden, you know, in this same program, they walked up to all these kids. I mean, there was thousands of them that were waiting in line for this John Green with glasses, you know. I think it's johngreenbooks.com, giving him a little plug because I just love his story, never met him. But, you know, they were waiting in line to autograph. So this guy walks up to him, Callan, and to this kid and said, "What does John Green mean to you?" And the kid immediately started crying. And he picks up his shoulder, you know, his sleeve on his shirt, and it said Geek Fighters. He had a tattoo on his shoulder called Geek Fighters because this guy was able to touch these kids emotionally, that they weren't alone, that there was nothing wrong with them, that there was other people just like them, and that's what people got to do. And it doesn't make a difference if it was single moms or you know, your passion about cars. I mean, I can guarantee you, if you did research, you could find a whole group of people blogging about knitting. You know what I mean? And it's just, that's what people don't get. They don't get that there's all these people that feel like they're weird and that no one accepts them because they're crazy and they're different like everybody else, sort of like Steve Jobs' little pitch. But if you find a niche to help those people feel like they're not by themselves and they're not alone and there are other crazy people like them. Some people think that you and I are crazy, and I'm totally okay with that.
When someone says to me that I'm crazy, I just agree with them and let it go there. You know?
Absolutely.
So I love what you're saying here, and I need to just address our listeners. For those of you that have joined us late here, I'm going to repeat a couple things that I said earlier. Robert has been explaining fantastically about his passion for helping people and helping people find their passion. And if you did join us late and you're not already on Robert's speaker page, I want you to go there now, because that's how you can take best advantage of this interview that you've joined us in. So that success page, or excuse me, that speaker page is www.resultswithkellen.com/Success in Minutes. That's SUCCESSINMITUTES. So go there, and you'll know you're on the right page when you see the words, or you see Robert's picture, Robert Hollis's picture. And he's our guest today, explaining about how you can create a following and create a living, creating your ideal day from anything that you are truly passionate about. Now, I mentioned earlier that Robert has a free gift as a thank you gift for just listening to this interview today. And it's a fantastic, because I've had a little chance to preview it, but I'm not going to spoil the fun. Robert, your free gift, your free thank you gift is called Getting Unstuck, and it's some videos. Could you take just a minute here and describe for the audience what the free gift is, what they're going to get in the Getting Unstuck thank you gift?
Absolutely. One of the things that when I finally got pushed down, there was a dear friend of mine, which was one of the millionaires that I helped. His name is Max Miller, and he always wanted to be an author. So I pushed him, and I asked him if he could do anything. What would it be? And he said he wanted to travel the world. And I said, well, great. Then why don't you work for an airline so you can so you can get free tickets and fly all over? Well, he wants to be an author, and he wrote this book. Well, the thing that we did when we did 50 hours of interviewing for me to do this book writing, the one thing that I did is I ended up putting the highlights of my book in the Unstuck videos. So I think that each one of the videos are 15 or 20 minutes long, and what I'm going to do is that's one of the things that I give to people that I mentor, and that's the gift that I want to give to everyone. So they'll be able to get those 4 videos or 4 DVDs and just be able to download them. They can put them on any multimedia gadget that they got, and that's my gift to each and every one of them.
Well, that's fantastic. One of the things I wrote down after looking at the gift was it's a mindset. We use that word in coaching, which means changing the way we think about who we are and what we can do. And you use the word retool and dominate. And I love that, because especially when we feel powerless, the word dominate is like this sort of resonant feeling like we can do something that we only dreamed about being able to do, and that's really nice. I want to thank you, because that's actually a very generous gift, and will be very valuable for those that have taken time to listen to the interview today. So, friends, I'll tell you in a few minutes just how to get your free thank you gift. But while you're on this page, and that's Robert's speaker page that I told you how to get to just a second ago, I want you to find something else. I want you to now find the special offer button. It's big, it's orange, and it's easy to find. So go and then click on it, and you'll know you're on the right page, because you'll see the words special offer. And that's followed by the words Robert Hollis, how is that working? And that's his special offer. So on this page, you'll be able to read all about the special offer that Robert has put together for being on this interview today, and it's really very cool. So Robert, your package is called Robert Hollis, how is that working? In a few sentences, could you please tell the listeners a bit about this special offer package that you and your team have put together just for our listeners?
Yeah, it was about 3 years ago that I decided, there was people that were hitting me all over, asking me, would you please mentor me? Would you please mentor me? And one of the things that I did is over the past 3 years, what we did is put together a 90-day step-by-step I mean, very short videos. That's where the phrase success in minutes came from, is just very, very slow over 90 days, as I want to show people how they can generate a pretty substantial income by just following this 90-day aspect of training. So it's a step-by-step, and it's already all done. All the videos are all done, and all the audios. The mentorship part is me, where I go on a weekly basis, and people can actually go back and forth with me via email. But on a weekly basis, for that same 90 days, on a weekly basis, we do live mentorship trainings. And so this is taking that training that you have, and this allows you to interact with me, ask me questions. For people that are really interested, I'll even spend one-on-one time with you. And my goal, again, is to pull that out of you, and the mentorship is how to basically do the neat little things that you need to do to get yourself on social media, find your passion that you're talking about, and then start getting you out there to the world, you know, with your blog and everything that you're doing. My whole goal is to help you build your brand. So what we're going to offer in our package is, and then also is going to be a PDF version of my book. So what I'll do is I'll put a whole PDF version of my book in there, and basically allow you to have that book, and the 90-day mentoring program that I'm sharing with other people, that for your listeners and you're watching, we really super discounted it. So that's the package.
So that's a very good description, and thank you. So this is a 90-day course plus weekly calls of mentoring plus a copy of your book, so people can walk step by step through 90 days of short videos, have weekly calls with you to be mentored, and have that kind of access to you for an incredible 90% discount, an amazing price. Do I understand that right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Friends, that's an amazing offer. Robert, that is very generous. If you'd like, my friends, to take Robert up on his special offer at this incredible 90% discount, scroll to the top of the page, click on the Add to Cart button. The rest is easy. Just fill out the form and click Submit, and you'll be on your way. So I'm going to ask you a few other questions that come up all the time as a coach for you and me as well, and I want you to talk a bit about how you do some of the magic that you do. So if someone came to you and said, okay, Robert, I feel like I'm ready to make a change. I really am ready to make some change in my life. Are the first steps, what are the very first steps that you would have somebody do?
Well, you know as well as anybody is that for people to admit that they want change is like the biggest key. You know, there's a lot of people that are your watchers, and they always say that. Everybody says, well, I'd like more free time, I'd like to make more money, I'd like to be in better shape, I'd like to be a lot of things, and we all think that, and doing that and turning that into action is where people really start messing up. And I tell people, man, you just got to do success in minutes. Again, that's where that phrase came from. Is what I do, Kellen, is I get them to do little tiny things that are just so simplistic that they're sort of goofy when you ask them to do it. If it was about getting into shape, you know, listen, you know, my goal for you is at the exact time every day, let's see if you could do one push-up. And people laugh at that. But we all have this incredible potential. And we don't know it, but we do. And if we just take a little bit of action, then taking a little bit from your results with Kellen, you know, through that action, they're going to get a result. Through that result, they now start building their confidence, their belief, their faith in what they're doing, which then raises what I believe is their potential. That puts them in more action, and then it goes. What a lot of people go is, wow, I want to make 10 grand a month. Well, that's a neat number. That's a very neat number. But bottom line, why don't you try to figure out, you know, how to just, you know, make a dollar? You know, isn't it hilarious that when we look at traditional businesses, Kellen, that, you know, you always look behind the cash register and there's a picture frame up there and it's got $1 in it? And people always ask, well, what's that dollar up there? That's the first dollar that I made. That was the first dollar of profit that I made. That was important to them. Why wouldn't it be important to you?
Well, it would be, and that's amazing. So the first thing that I see that you do is you have people start taking a series of small steps so that they can begin immediately to have some success, and that's a
Baby steps.
powerful, yeah, a powerful motivator. So another thing I hear a lot that I want to talk to you to talk to us about, teach us about process, is when I do it, I hear this too. When I do this by myself, I get lost in the conversations in my mind, and then I get confused and I get discouraged. So the question I get is, how do I keep focused when I get discouraged?
What's neat about the difference to me between training and mentoring is training is stuff that you can get if you go on the internet. You can find training from everybody on everything. Which mentorship is more like Yoda. You know what I mean? You know, with Luke, is mentoring is someone that you start holding yourself accountable to. You know, so they know what you need to do, and they know the kind of results that you're going to get. And of course, when you put on the helmet, if you haven't watched Star Wars, you know,
Right.
you put the helmet on, and all of a sudden you're blinded. And remember, he was telling them, well, listen, don't look, just feel, just trust your feelings. Well, if you notice, the first couple of shots, he got hit, and they didn't feel very good. So a mentor is someone that challenges you, that you're accountable to, but they're telling you it's okay. You know what I mean? When we're by ourselves, we try something and we get rejection and we fail, and you know, we take that to ourselves. We basically think that something's wrong or we're wrong. What's neat about having a mentor is a mentor says, listen, there's nothing wrong with you. You're awesome. You're great. The process is great, and that little, you know, rejection or whatever you took was just part of the process. There's nothing wrong with it. And so I tell people, when you watch like a women's volleyball game, you know, it doesn't make a difference if they score the point or they miss the point. They all get in a huddle and say it's okay, and then go back to get the next point. You know, and we see that when you got someone that's with you, so someone that is available to mentor you is one thing, but another is someone that's able. I think one of the biggest mistakes on the internet today, Kellen, is that, you know, because of the internet, no one has to show documentation that they've helped anybody. So, you know, a lot of people might go, oh my God, I've tried a lot of this stuff. I don't think you probably tried stuff from a documented mentor because that mentor would have reached out to you and helped you because it was important to them that they get results. Kellen, you don't mentor people and then want no one to know about them. You want to mentor someone that gets unbelievable results so that you get to use them as a testimony.
Of course, you know, that's exactly right. And the key to that piece is the mentor actually caring about you and actually following up with you. And then, of course, you're more motivated to take action yourself and
Amen.
to follow up, you know, to keep doing it because you're accountable. And it's like, I don't want to disappoint them. And so you start taking action. And then, of course, action breeds success. And then success breeds, I want to be accountable. Hey, I get to talk about this. I did it. I did 1 push-up. I did 2. I did 5. I did 10. I did 20. Hey, this is working.
Yes.
So then there's one other, or a couple other questions here. One of the things that I hear about that I want you to talk about here is, okay, sometimes initial, like the battle helmet. All right, I got zapped a few times, and then people think they picked the wrong thing. Oh, right. I picked the wrong, I got a chain. Must not be working because I must not be passionate. It must be the wrong thing for me. I got one too many zaps with the, you know, the little bot that was floating in the air. And I'm sorry if we're doing too much Star Wars for people that haven't seen it. But anyway, so I got zapped a few too many times and I want to give up quick. So what do you do when people tell you they want to give up and maybe they think they've picked the wrong area even after you've kind of taken them through a process and they got hurt a couple times and they want to quit?
Well, a sign of, to me, of a good success story is not to be afraid of sharing your failures with people. You know, I love telling people all the stuff that I've done where I second-guess myself, and not only second-guess myself, but did things that didn't work and failed at this and failed at that. So what I do with people is a lot of times I share with them the things that I did that were just absolutely ridiculous, and they laugh. They get to laugh at me because I'm not hurt by my mistakes. I think that it was a part of my process. I'm glad that I went through it. And so I tried a couple of home-based businesses that didn't work. And I made some really, really, really stupid goof-ups. And I love sharing with people that if you look within anyone's success story, they're going to be honest and open with you on the stuff that they did that they failed. You know, so when we hear the Kentucky Fried Chicken story, you know, I just love gathering all these stories where Colonel Sanders, I think, got turned down, you know, thousands and thousands of times, you know, but he wanted to sell the recipe. So when he couldn't sell the recipe, then he was forced to do it on his own. I
You
think
know,
he's glad. I think he's glad he did.
yeah, him and all of the franchise owners and the posterity, right?
Yeah.
So that is, so important, to be willing to do two things. One is acknowledge failures as a part of the process, and it's no big deal. That just means that particular thing doesn't work. And we've heard Sanders, we've heard Edison and his 10,000 light bulb tries and everything else. But a willingness to just say, hey, I failed here, it didn't work, and then make the key about continuing, just taking the next step and continuing on. So that's fantastic, and I love your stories about mentoring. So, so what if someone just came up to you and said, all right, look, I'm passionate about this, and you believe it, and you have these conversations with them, and now they're trying to figure out how to make money. And so what if they said to you, okay, fine, I'm passionate, I'm willing to make videos, I'll do all this. What's the best way to get my first 5 customers?
Well, the first thing that I do is I think a lot of people quit, and a lot of people not know. I know this for a fact. A lot of people quit because they make expectations. They're unrealistic expectations, you know. And what I think is so unique about traditional business and franchising is they say, well, listen, Calvin, listen, you're going to buy a Subway sandwich shop. It's going to cost you $500,000, and you're probably going to see profits in your 3rd year if everything works great. But you're not going to get your money back for 8 years. So guess what? A person goes in with realistic expectations. They're not going in going, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try what Kellen taught me, you know, for like, 3 days. And if I don't get any results, I'm out of here. And what I think that a lot of people do is they get unrealistic expectations. Well, I believe it's a job of a mentor to give them realistic expectations. And I'll give you another analogy. It's like martial arts. You know, everyone goes, wow, I see Bruce Lee. Wouldn't it be cool to be a black belt? Well, if you walk up to somebody, regardless of the art, and said, listen, I want to be a black belt, when the guy tells you or the lady tells you that that's a 3 or 5 year process that takes, 40 hours a week to do, well, that's a full-time job. And it's like, well, maybe I don't want to be a black belt then as much as I thought I wanted to be.
It's funny that you would use that example, because I am a martial artist and I'm a second-degree black belt in Tang Soo Do, and I've actually taught martial arts. So you picked one unknowingly or with karma that resonates very strongly with me. So listeners, friends, by now you've been to Robert's special offer page. If you haven't, here is the link to Robert's page. It's www.resultswithkellen.com. Oh, I've got a noise here. Let me turn that off. Sorry about that. www.resultswithkellen.com/success in minutes. And on this page, look for the special offer button and click on that special offer button now. And on this special offer button, you're going to read all about this great offer that Robert has described for us. And you'll be able especially to see something about roadmap. He's got a thing on there describing the roadmap. And one of the things I really love about this is this 90-day steps, the small amount of this, the chunk it down piece. Do this today, do this tomorrow, and one thing at a time. I love that piece. So you'll be able to read all about that special offer on that page. And if you haven't yet, please go there. As I said, it's resultswithkellen.com/success in minutes. Okay, now, after you've taken a look at that, I want you to go ahead and take advantage of this incredible offer that Robert has made for us at this amazing 90% discount for How Is That Working package. Click on that Add to Cart button now. And after you do that, of course, the rest is easy. And just fill out that form and click on the Submit Order button. Okay, so Robert, I've got a few more questions that have come in from listeners, and I'd like to ask those here in our closing minutes here. It sounds simple and like it's probably possible, but I'm always afraid that there's something about me that might repel success. And like maybe I'm just not cut out to make my life like you've described it or like I want it. What do I do with that feeling?
What you do with that feeling is have somebody else other than you tell you that you're not. We all know the worst enemy on the world is us. We have this thing in the between our ears. A lot of the success that I have personally achieved has been achieved, believe it or not, in the last 5 years, and it was because I finally reached out and shared my vision with people that pushed me. I still thought, oh my God, who wants to listen to me? I'm overweight. Who wants to listen to me? I'm not that, nice to look at. I think that my voice and my laugh is stupid. So if I have those same feelings, then I know that you do. I know that everybody does. And so it's always amazing, like even that, the relationship with you, Kellen, where you looked at some of my information, and this morning I got up and I prayed that this happens to every one of your watchers, is I did step out and do a book. Well, this morning I have this kid named Aaron that's from Minneapolis. I've never met him. I've never talked to him on the phone, ever. And he did this incredible YouTube review on my book. And I listening to him talking about how great my book is, and I'm bawling like a baby because thank God someone said and pushed me. I'm dyslexic. I have a difficulty reading my own book. So you just got to get around people that say, yes, you can, yes, you can, yes, you can. You become the people that you hang around. And if you're talking to only you and there's no one else in your corner, you got to get some more people in your corner. You got to hang around a group of people that are crazy like me and Callan.
That's a fantastic piece of advice. In my own life, that's been really important, to have someone that believed in me maybe more than I did. Yeah. And was willing to say, yes, you can, when I kept telling myself, no, I can't. So that piece of advice certainly resonates really strongly with me. And again, another reason why your 90-day approach resonates with me, at least, so strongly, because every day you get the opportunity to have somebody outside of yourself whisper in your ear like the little bird on your shoulder, yes, yeah. You can, yes, you can, yes, you can. Give it one more day, give it one more day, give it one more day. So I got another question for you.
Okay.
Okay, the economy has been struggling for several years now. I hear so many stories and know so many people that have struggled and have not really recovered. Is this possibility of making money with my own passion, finding something that I can do and making it work for me so I can live that dream day, is that really possible in today's economy?
Yes, absolutely it is. And again, I use analogies and real true stories. As we hear, the economy has been awful, and of course, depending on who you talk to, how bad the whole entire world is. Again, I suggest that you spend a little less time on CNN, constant negative news, and you start hanging around, people that know that that's not a true statement. Do you realize in the last 10 years that every year for the last 10 years, the person fastest to a billionaire status has been broken? Not only has it been broken, and there's more people in Forbes magazine that are billionaires now than any other time in history, but they're younger. So you look at the guys that started Yahoo, billionaire. Then they did Google. Those kids are billionaires. The guys that started Yahoo, billionaires. The guys that started Facebook, billionaires. How would you like to be Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook? He not only becomes the youngest and the fastest person as a billionaire in Forbes history, but he got beat last year by his friend because his friend was actually younger than him. And I want to just share something about social entrepreneurship. There used to be this thing called the Industrial Revolution, the industrial age. Well, now it's the information age. And now we got people that are putting up cell towers, and there's kids that, hardly have enough to eat, but they're empowering these people with smart devices that can tap into the internet. What's going to happen in the years ahead with the internet are going to surpass way more. I sit there and I get excited, as you can hear me, because social entrepreneurship models are out there right now. And what they are is, imagine sitting down with Mark Zuckerberg or even the kids from Yahoo and say, now what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to build a search engine. Okay, great. Why? Well, that allows everyone in the world to go there and search and find what they need. And what are you going to charge people? Nothing. So you can see how it's changing traditional way of thinking. For people that ask that question, I'm saying that you got to change your paradigm. You got to change the way you think. If you change the way you think, you change who you are.
That sentence right there is something that I would write down. You've got to change the way you think in order to change who you are. So one of the things you mentioned earlier was about hiring the wrong mentors and getting the wrong help. And the last question that I had here, or not the last one, but the next one, talks about that specifically. And it says, I feel like I've tried so many different things in the past to improve my circumstances, and so many just seem not to work out. What makes this so different?
Well, the first thing I tell people is you got to find the right mentor. What I mean by that is a documented mentor. See, a lot of people, what they do is they go out there just like exercise equipment for me. I love picking on me. You know, I watched an infomercial years ago about the Bowflex. And if you just put in 20 minutes a day on this Bowflex, you're incredibly got the best body you ever had. Well, I need to tell all your watchers that that's not true. I bought it and I didn't lose any weight at all.
Well, then the next question, did you put in the 20 minutes a day?
Of course I didn't. So, you know, so Kellen, you know that what the answer to that was already. So I bought a lot of things to try to get in shape, but I've never made that commitment to find the right thing. I remember I heard a guy one time that said, listen, if you're exercising and what you're doing isn't fun and you don't love doing it, you're not going to do it. So you better keep looking. Just keep looking. Another thing that I love saying to people is, if some of your followers are going to find this hard to believe, and watchers, but my first two girlfriends in high school actually made the decision that they no longer wanted me to be a part of the relationship.
Oh, terrifying.
And so, yes, I felt rejected. Yes, I was heartbroken. But thank God I kept looking, you know, because now I've been married for over 30 years. And so I tell people all the time, you know, if you haven't found that mentor, know that first of all, you need to ask for help and you need to find a mentor. Don't stop looking for a mentor that you resonate with. You go, I like this person. They make me feel good. I don't get upset when they push me and find me accountable. Just because you haven't found one yet doesn't mean that they're not out there. I can guarantee you that they're out there. You got to keep looking.
That's a fantastic answer. So, listeners, my friends, I want you to now I'm going to give you something you've been waiting for, and that is about the free thank you gift that I told you about earlier. So you need to be on Robert's page, and that's the one that we got you to earlier with his beautiful picture on there, despite those girls that rejected him, that beautiful picture on there. So if you haven't seen that page yet, it's www.resultswithkellen.com/success. Now, to get your thank you gift, click on the special offer button. You know where that is. That's the big orange one. To get to the special offer page, then scroll down and look for the box. It has red dotted lines around it, and then it says Robert Hollis thank you gift. Fill in your name and your email address and click on the send button, and within minutes we'll automatically send you a link to Robert's thank you gift. All right, now for you that joined this interview late and missed some of what we talked about, don't worry, we're going to post a replay in a few minutes. We'll leave it up for 72 hours. If you want to share this interview with someone, please do. Send them to www.resultswithkellen.com. Love to have them take advantage of Robert's wisdom and what he's taught us today about how to make your passion reality. Now, if you haven't already done so, now is the time. Now is the time to take advantage of Robert Hollis' How Is That Working package at this amazing exclusive 90% discount. Click on the Add to Cart button now. The rest is easy. Just fill in the form and click Submit, and you'll be on your way. Friends, thank you for listening to this interview. Robert, thank you for sharing all your incredible wisdom and insights with us today.
Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed it. I hope that people got value out of it.
Incredible. I have so many more questions here, but we're just out of time. So, friends, bye for now.
God bless. Bye-bye.